Hey everyone, welcome to another brew day. Today we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to call this video Kettle Sours Are Easy. It's not different because we're doing a different beer. It's different because I'm going to show you just a really easy way to make your own sours. I've been doing this process for a while now, and I've tried a couple different ways, and I think this is kind of the easiest and the easiest to be consistent with. So what we're going to do first, the recipe is really simple. It's 4 pounds of white wheat, 4 pounds of Pilsner, a pound of flaked wheat, and then 12 ounces of carapils. And those two are just kind of for head and foam retention and stuff. So a very easy grain bill. And what we're going to do first is we're going to mash normal at 148 for 60 minutes. And then before we transfer, I'll talk a little more about what we're going to do next. So here we go. All right, well, we are ready to dough in. The mash tun is preheated and ready to go. So I'm gonna dough in now and then we'll get going again. We're going to be recirculating for about 10 or 15 minutes just to get the grain bed set. And then we'll start the mash timer. So this is kind of what we're trying to get rid of. These little chunks floating around. As soon as that's done, we'll be good to go. Alright, so I got a little bit of a stuck mash here, so I'm adding some rice hulls. I figured why not show how I fix that. This isn't the only way I fix it. Sometimes I'll just throw some whole grain in. But usually a couple handfuls of rice hulls can go a pretty long way. Because it's pretty bad. And then I'll stir this up and show you it running again. Alright, so the mash is unstuck and it's recirculating good now. It's been going for about 10 more minutes again, so seems to be flowing well. We got about 25 minutes left, so. Yeah, well, we've just finished mashing out, and so I'm going to start transferring to the kettle now. Pretty simple, basic process. Sparging now, just letting it flow on its own. Seems to be the right amount. We are about halfway done with the sparge. I'm trying to go really slowly with this one just to get the most out of it because it's already going to be lower ABV anyways, so I'm going to make sure we get it all. Okay, so the next step is just to bring this up to boiling temperature, but not necessarily to a boil. We just want to make sure we kill off any bacteria that's in there so that when we sour it's going to just be the lactose. Okay, we are hot enough that I've turned the burner off now. And so now what we're going to do is just let that sit until it gets to 100 degrees. I'll probably do a little bit of chilling, but I don't know, I'm kind of busy. So I may just let it fall naturally to 100. And then I will hold it with my Herm system, keep it at 100, and I'll pitch lacto and give that a few days until the pH is right, and then we'll get it fermenting. Okay, I apologize for the noise. My pump is running to keep the temperature up here. But we are at 92.5, so I'm going to go ahead and pitch the lacto. I'm using Good Belly. And this takes care of it, so shake this up good. And something that a lot of people do that I don't do is to put a CO2 blanket on top of that. I don't worry about it. I never have, and I've done about 15 sours now. and none of them have ever had any issues. So I'm going to keep not doing the CO2 blanket. I learned that from a podcast from Milk the Funk, and they said it wasn't necessary. So what I'm going to do next is I'll wrap this in foil just around the rim, just to kind of seal it off. But I'm not really worried about any oxygen getting in there. I'm not worried about any acetobacter because I brought it to a boil beforehand, so it should be good to go. And we'll check the pH in a couple days. Looking for around 3.0, 2.9, somewhere in there. Okay, so it's been about a day. I know this isn't going to be where I want it, but I want to go ahead and test the pH anyways, just to see where we are after a day. So we're actually getting really close. This is after just roughly 24 hours. I've kept it at 96. The top is my hot liquor tank and the bottom is my temperature in my boil kettle. So I might actually end up pitching this later tonight, but we'll see. I'll take another reading later. I want to see how far it falls in the next several hours. So, alright, so it's the next morning and it's right around 3.08. It's kind of where I want it because I'm going to be adding pomegranate and lime to this as flavors, so I don't want to go too low because that lime is going to enhance the perceived sourness of it. So I'm just going to start the boil now, and you can see this is still kind of bopping back and forth, but that's good. So now I'll start the boil. This is only going to get about 15 minutes for me to throw in a whirl flock and some yeast nutrient. And I'm also going to put about 10 individual hops into it just to get a little bit of bitterness. So, all right, well, we have started boiling. I took my lid off, so it's kind of hard to see, but it's boiling in there. Gonna add, like I said, just a few citra hops and a whirl flock and some yeast nutrient. And then we're gonna let that boil for 15 minutes and come back. Alright, so we're ready for the yeast. And I know that seems high, but quite can handle it. And there's my Oslo and my sanitized spoon. I'm just going to get like the tip of a teaspoon worth. So even that might be a little much, but we'll see. It'll be okay. And that's it. Kind of uneventful, but it's in there. Okay, so a few hours after pitching, so we'll just keep an eye on it. Well, I have got this thing cold crashing. It's been in there for about 2 days. I'm going to leave it for a couple more. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and talk about flavoring and how I like to add fruit to my sours. And this is kind of specific to how I do sours, but typically what I'll do is make some kind of puree or juice and then freeze that for about 2 days while the beer's cold crashing, and then I'll add that into the cold crash and let it sit for a couple more days, and then it melts and it keeps the beer cold, and yeah, it gets in, and I haven't had any problems with doing it that way. The flavor's been good. I keg So I know that you bottlers might not be able to do it that way, or you might need to take some special precautions with it. But you know, I do condition my kegs at 68 degrees, and they don't overcarb or anything like that from having the fruit in them. So yeah, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, I decided with this one, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do pomegranate lime. And so basically I'm just taking 5 pounds of frozen pomegranate seeds and juicing those. And then you'll see I also, with my red flavors, raspberry, anything that's got red in it, I like to use a little bit of frozen dragon fruit because I think it adds a nice color, and it's a really, really mild flavor. And so pretty much any flavor will mask it. And it, like I said, it adds a nice red to the beer. So this one's gonna be pomegranate lime. So I'm gonna juice 2 limes and 5 pounds of pomegranate seeds, and then about a half a pound of dragon fruit. And I'll probably puree all that, strain it, and then we'll freeze it and put it in the beer. So we are about 12 days, 13 days from when I brewed this, and that is only because I kind of forgot about it and cold crashed for a couple days and got busy working. So as you can see, I'm set up in the new bar inside the house. This is kind of fun because now I don't have to go out in the cold garage to get my beer. So we've already had a little bit of this. It's come out very good. I'll just get some and then we'll talk a little bit about it. So here is the finished product, if I can get that up there. It's a nice kind of pink red color. It's not real defined, but it's the pomegranate definitely coming through on the color there, and it comes through on the flavor as well. The aroma on this is sour, you know, so it smells kind of funky, but you don't brew a sour for the aroma. I think we came out, what did I write down here? Yeah, we're right at 4.8% on the ABV on this. So just like I said, from the standpoint of aroma, not much on it. You can mostly just smell the fruit that's in it now. Yeah, and the taste is typical sour tart. But what's nice about this is that the pomegranate and the lime actually kind of come through really well with the sour, and so it tastes a lot like a pomegranate juice, but definitely has that beer backbone to it. So I know I didn't show a lot to the puree and how I did that, but basically what I had to do was I pureed the pomegranate seeds and then strained out all of the little pits that are in there, and then I put a 1/4 cup of sanitizer in the mixture, and then added all that to the beer while it was cold crashing, and let that sit for 2 days in cold crash, and then I kegged it up. Now, like I said before, you bottlers, I don't know what the added fruit might do, so you might want to look up what to do when you're bottling if you're adding fruit at packaging. But for me, I'm putting it in a keg and throwing it in the keezer and putting pressure on it right away, so I'm not too worried about anything else happening. Again, Kettle Sours are easy. I do these all the time. We love them around here. I throw pretty much any fruit flavor in them. The one thing I will say is that do not use the pineapple good belly. I found that just is an accident waiting to happen with either butyric acid or some other things that can happen that make it just smell like either vomit or poop or some kind of mixture of the two. So, well, until next time, cheers.